Hello, I'm Shekhar from Maharashtra, district Buldhana. I worked in ZIIEI High School and Junior College, Pimpalgaon, Raja. I teach English and history in my school. The problem with my children is learning vocabulary. So that was the serious problem. Then I thought for about some time and came up with a conclusion that textbooks, sometimes they find it boring and they do not want to read from the text matter. So I have some collection of articles from the local newspapers, the Hitwad, the Times of India and other papers. So I cut some articles from the local newspapers in English and I pasted it on some moundboard paper and I distributed them to my students and asked them to sit in groups. I gave them, these are some of the articles from local newspapers. So I converted them into flashcards and I asked them to identify the known words, the familiar words first, which we have already learnt in 7th and 8th standard. And afterwards, at the back page, at the back side of the article, I asked them to write down new words which they came across in the article. So in that way, it was like a game, a fun game for them. And I found them also interesting in this activity. So the next day, they would come to the school by learning the words by heart, and then in this way, I overcame their limitation and the difficulties in the class to learn vocabulary. Secondly, there are puzzles, beautiful quotations, some beautiful nature pictures, different pictures, national heroes pictures in the newspaper. So I again cut them and pasted it on the moundboard and then I distributed it on the bulletin, news bulletin. So the idea was to look at them, think about them, reflect about them and to motivate them to collect similar things for their own writing. So in 1 week, they could collect some beautiful pictures and quotations as I had shown them in my demonstration, and in that way they were supposed to write a few lines in their notebook. So the children made simple small notebooks and they could write something related to the picture they had seen in the bulletin, the news bulletin. So in that way they developed their reading habits also, and their screen time was also decreased because their attention was diverted towards these natural things from newspapers, and they could be able to compose a few lines on their own. So that was my idea, and I think it did not cost me anything in implementing in my class.